Marvel Rivals doesn't have a creativity problem. It has a spotlight problem, because if you really sit down and think about it and how this game presents itself from trailers, hero reveals, balance patches, and community conversation, you'd realize there's one role that has the main character, and that's Duelists, and sometimes strategists, but we'll cover them later. But you know who's not in the spotlight? Vanguards. Now, I'm not saying every DPS is broken. I'm also not saying all tanks are unplayable. Well, maybe some are. What I am saying is something deeper. Marvel Rivals feels like it's designed around the duelist fantasy. When a hero shooter starts glazing one class too heavily, the ecosystem starts warping around it. Now that's what I want to talk about today. What inspired me to make this video is after the release of Elsa Bloodstone and all the attention she's received. I thought back to the other roles in their hero drops, and boy, some of them are lackluster to say the least. This isn't a rage video or me crying for 12 minutes about how things aren't fair.
You can't keep getting away with it!
This is about direction, identity, philosophy surrounding Marvel Rivals hero shooters vision. Now, if you were here in the beginning, a certain sentiment was shared by the entire community, and it goes as following: if everyone is OP, then no one is. Now fast forward today, that can be phrased as: gut your favorite hero, replace him with an overtuned DPS and or support who can do no wrong. Like for instance, Daredevil is a better magic, Elsa is a better Psylocke, Gambit is a better everybody. Who can you really say about that about the tank role? I don't really have no one in mind. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comments. If you've been playing long enough, you felt this shift. The game is getting faster, burstier, and more mobility heavy, more highlight driven as well. And that doesn't happen by accident. It is intentional game design. Like, these new heroes don't fit in a concrete box like the ones on release. For example, Elsa, she can play dive, poke, anti-dive. She also plays very well in the neutral. Her ult controls tempo while being able to stun everyone in the entire game. Like, the huge buff that came to Hulk this last season was that in his ultimate form, he can't be CC'd. Now full comes Elsa and she full counters that, which basically nullifies that buff. So you would think Rivals would nerf the overtuned heroes, but no, and I'll tell you why. First, look at presentation. When a new hero drops, what gets showcased the most? The eliminations, the combos, the multi-kills, and most importantly, the solo plays. And can we please stop making one-shot combo videos? Like, look at this foolishness.
Okay, Elsa Bloodstone is absolutely broken. She has a 700 HP one-shot combo.
Really, nigga?
And look, my biggest problem with that video is: one, you're not going to be hitting perfect headshots every time. Two, when is a thing going to be pushing alone? And three, where are his healers? This is only works in like the practice range. Also, the move is stationary here. Duelists sell excitement. They generate clips, and also they make great thumbnails. Nobody's clipping perfect space control. Nobody's going viral for exceptional pill timing, but let a Bucky get a 6K and see how TikTok reacts. The algorithm favors aggression, and the game seems to follow that same logic. But here's where it gets interesting. Presentation eventually shapes perception, and perception shapes player behavior. Like, look at the one trick epidemic. Rivals still doesn't have a fix for that, and I dare you to say real Q. I just want to say thank you guys so much for the recent support. I'm at 500 subscribers. My goal is to hit 700 by the end of the month. I know that's a big goal, but I feel like we can do it. So if you guys aren't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. When the most fun heroes are almost always duelists, players subconsciously internalize something. This is what matters. Now let's shift from marketing to patch psychology. Look at ultimate cost. Punisher and Wolverine both got buffs in that area. Look at burst windows. Look at power creep. Over time, duelists consistently feel like they're getting the most experimental, the most expressive, the most layered kits. Vanguards often get durability tweaks. Strategists often get healing adjustments. But I will say this: Adam being able to fly plus float is a cool feature. Loki and Gambit have fun kits. A little bit overtuned on the Gambit side, but we won't get to that. Duelists, on the other hand, get mechanical complexities, and complexity equals skill expression. That's how you end up with role hierarchy. Not because devs announce one, but because hero design creates one. I mean, we have a whole group of people who just meta chase. Now, tuning health pools, heals, and damage aren't the solution. I hate to say it, either you nerf everyone across the board and bring them down to a good baseline, or you rework old heroes so they can keep up with the new ones, or just make them fun. Like, there is no reason in the big 2026 we don't have a 5-star hero in every role by now. And for the ones who don't know, Spider-Man is the only 5-star hero. In Rivals, the poke meta has taken over. Gone are the days when dive is the most dominant playstyle. Do you guys remember when support players went on strike because one streamer said that their role was the easiest and called them trash? You guys threw an absolute fit. Now imagine if tank players went on strike. I mean, you guys had to fight to get one person to dual tank with y'all. What changes would y'all make to make people want to play tank more? I don't have a one-to-one solution, so I need y'all's help. When the game speeds up, the roles that benefit are the ones that capitalize on chaos. Duelists thrive in chaos. Vanguards stabilize chaos. Strategists sustain through chaos. But if chaos feels constant, stabilizing and sustaining feels reactive instead of proactive. That's the difference. It's not about raw power, it's about agency. Duelists initiate momentum, other roles respond to it. And in any competitive game, the role that initiates action feels more impactful, even if the scoreboard doesn't show it. Let's talk about the creation of triple support, and it's not as simple as game design, because at the core of triple support are duelists. Stay with me now. If dive wasn't as impressive as it was in the earlier seasons, and supports didn't feel helpless, the dev team wouldn't have gigabuff supports. But it doesn't stop there. They created characters to full counter dive. The best example is the Thing. He was literally created to stop Black Panther. Also, they nerfed dive on top of that. The biggest complaints I've heard against dive is that it just isn't fun to play against. So the dev team responded and folded to the demands of the community, which inevitably created a new problem: triple support. Now the whole problem flipped on its head. DPS players are now crying that nothing dies, and sustain feels boring to play against. So guess what the dev team did? They buffed poke. So now poke counters dive, and poke oftentimes counters or stalemates triple support. So now poke is overtuned. Funny enough, this reminds me of a story that I read as a child. It's about the old woman who swallowed a fly. After swallowing a fly, she swallows a spider to catch the fly, then swallows a bird to catch the spider, then a cat to catch the bird, and then a dog to catch the cat, etc. This is what is happening in Marvel Rivals. They create a problem, then create solutions for said problem, then that solution becomes a problem, so then they have to make a solution, and so on and so on. You get the point. And that's the thing about balance. It's not as easy as buffs and nerfs. It plays on a pendulum, and this pendulum can be swung and swayed to the dev's liking, and us players are at their mercy. Now let's talk about player psychology. When you log in and queue, what role feels like it's going to carry? Be honest, most players think duelist. Why? Because the game reinforces the idea that eliminations equal impact, and eliminations are visible. Damage is visible, kill feeds is visible, final blows are visible, but space creation, pill, tempo denial, those are invisible, and most casual players don't know what that is or don't know what it looks like. The hero who is the biggest victim to this is Captain America. People think Cap is a throw pick. Now what do y'all know about Cap inflation? When you play Cap and dive the enemy backline and get the strategist to focus on you, or have one DPS on the enemy teams whose whole job is to babysit supports and fight or defend against you, that is value, and that value won't pop up on scoreboards. Like, the attention that is required from the enemy team support is unprecedented. So when design constantly emphasizes visible impact, the role with the most visual impact becomes an aspirational one, and that changes queue culture. You start seeing more duelist insta-locks, more selfish flanks, less coordinated team play, less patience for setup, because the game subtly teaches you that aggression is king. Now I want to zoom out even further. Every hero shooter faces this tension. Do you design around balance, or do you design around excitement? The best is to manage both. The risky ones lean too hard into spectacle. Right now, Marvel Rivals feel like it's flirting with spectacle first design, and spectacle first design almost always favors the damage roles. I think if you go in that direction, you should think about role fluidity. The best example I can give is basketball. Traditionally, basketball has 5 positions: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. Fast forward today, every player can create their own shot, centers are able to shoot and pass, so rivals can learn a thing or two about sports. Maybe, just maybe, tanks shouldn't be confined into a box, but expanded. Think about it. When new mechanics are introduced, they often revolve around mobility, burst combos, chase potential, ultimate snowballing. Rarely do we see groundbreaking innovations for tank players, space control, or supports utility depth at the same rate. Again, I'm not saying that those roles don't get love, I'm saying the intensity of innovation feels uneven. Solutions are being made, so I give credit where credit is due. When Marvel Rivals created Deadpool, he did feel like he'd make a difference, but then they go backtrack and make bad patch notes. The Marvel Rivals development team or balance team needs to lock in, and over time, uneven innovation creates uneven enthusiasm. The solution that I've come up with is I think we need more heroes. I know that might be a little crazy, and I'm not trying to blow up the game, but we need more tanks and we need more strategists. We have too many DPS. Personally, I think that we should do a season, maybe for the next 2 seasons, where you have 2 drops, 1 support and 1 tank for the next 2-3 seasons, until you get about 6 new heroes. Now here's my long-term concern. If Duelists continue to receive the most exciting toys, the most mechanical depth, the most satisfying playoffs moments, then the player base will naturally skew towards that role. And too many people want the same role, 2 things are gonna happen. Match times get weird and quality matches shift. Fine, I'll be the person to say it. In season 6.5, the match qualities are kind of dog. I mean, I personally enjoy playing the game still, but it does not feel like how it used to. That might just be nostalgia clouding my vision, but also I genuinely think that the direction this game is going in, the matches kind of feel terrible. The way I see things going, you get more players forcing duelists even if it doesn't fit the comp. You get less role flexibility. You get frustration in the role selecting. You get people who are getting mad that they won't play another role, and people saying things like, why won't you tank? I'm not solo tanking. People are getting mad, and I can see it because I play the game. Every role should feel like it can decide a fight in its own way. Right now, fights often decide by burst moments, poke being poke, flank timing, combo chains. Those are duelist coded win conditions. Where are the win conditions for tanks? A mag ulting a cloak and dagger? Get out of here. Where are the supports coded win conditions? Are they all feeling equally dramatic? No, most of their ults are just you can't die now abilities. They exist, but they're rarely spotlighted in the same way, and spotlight matters. Now, let's shift the tone. I understand why this is happening. From a business perspective, duelists are easily marketable. They sell skins easier. They look cooler in trailers, I'm sorry. They produce flashier highlights. They are the most popular role for a reason. I'd be lying to say that dev teams can't give the same attention to other roles. Like Angela did look dope in her trailer, but let's think for a second. Your average casual who gets off of work and wants to play rivals, they want to get on, get a couple kills and win. But you know what they're not doing? They're not going to be insta-locking support or tank. That's why QP is the way it is. But on this channel, I am focused more on the competitive side. I do care about the casual scene, however, it's not as serious in nature. Designing around marketability is different than designing around longevity. Longevity requires role satisfaction across the board, because if only one role feels constantly like the hero, burnout creeps in. Not for duelist players, but for everyone else. I want to make something clear. This isn't anti-duelist propaganda. Duelists are necessary. They're extremely fun. I am a duelist main myself. They create tension, secure picks, and punish mistakes, but they shouldn't feel like the default protagonist in every game. Balance just isn't numbers. It's narrative weight. It's emotional reward. It's identity validation. If I main Vanguard, I should feel like I'm shaping the match. And if I main Strategist, I should feel like fights collapse without me. Also, if I main Duelist, I should feel dangerous, not entitled. Right now, we need to keep that balance in check. Without proper balance, the ecosystem risks collapsing. Now, let's imagine two futures. Future A, Marvel Rivals double down on speed, burst, mobility. Duelists continue to headline patch. Tanks and supports design becomes increasingly more reactive. The game becomes explosive, chaotic, and clip driven. Fun but volatile. Future B, the devs consciously diversify spotlight moments. They introduce dramatic tanks. Now the ecosystem feels balanced, not just statistically but culturally. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I got more videos coming out. I love you guys. You guys have an amazing day. Peace out.